pick for Breathe, because Shanks is not going to win against Rookie. Your bot lane is playing super slow and not for laning phase. You absolutely have to go onto the red side and get a counter pick right there. But it doesn't look like I get my wishes. It is still going to be
No.
It's still going to be the Shy with the counter pick. I believe the way you read this draft is from right to left on IG side. So it does look like the Gragas is going to be going up into the Camille. And that's kind of a wash of a matchup. We haven't been seeing the Camille able to punish that hard onto the Gragas at all.
I think if I'm looking at this right, it looks like the Galio being picked up for the support meant that they didn't want to give away that very, very powerful combo of Camille Galio, where you can just jump in on top of the AD carry and stop him from doing absolutely anything. So the Camille was kind of more of a denial than it was actually a counter pick. And yeah, we'll see how it works out. But ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the rift for game 2 of Team WE versus IG. Let the Gios go! Aw, no Gios for that one girl who went crazy. There's no crazy. Thank you for that. But yes, looking at this game, looking at how this is all looking out now, you're seeing the 2 team comps. Where are you? Look, did Team WE at least change their composition a little bit better for you to say that they have a slightly stronger chance?
This is a much better draft. They have an easier combo to punish the top lane in the Shy with Camille and Talia, so that's an instant crowd control combo. It's much easier to just shut down the Shy even without a counter pick. And they finally first pick Kai'Sa here. So I think that makes a huge difference, because currently Kai'Sa is a hyper carry, but she peaks pretty early too. We are seeing the collector build be kind of the mainstay, so you can fight at 2 items and do relatively well on that. So I like this draft a lot better coming in from WE. They have a lot more dynamic options. They can play pick with Camille and Talia. They have globals with Kai'Sa, Killer Instinct, and the Weaver's Wall. So there's a lot more tools that they can actually play with, and the drafting sequence makes a lot more sense.
Well, we'll see if they want to go for anything crazy in this bot side. Balan hitting the Justice Punch on top of missing. An overall pretty even trade, but the push is still in favor of Team WE. They will have the first level 2 coming up. They might go for another re-engage.
This time around, I would say IG have the much weaker composition. They do have a lot of priority in the top side, but this is a comp without a lot of frontline, and there are a lot of champions that don't scale particularly well. Gragas and Olaf fall off quite hard into the late game. Plus, this bottom lane with Galio and Jhin don't really fit together.
Oh, there it is. We're going to see the damage being put down onto Baolan. He keeps his flash. Ooh, this is very, very risky business to get 1 or 2 more auto attacks from Jomong, and that is going to be a dead support. But they don't lose many summoners. They gain the cleanse off of Jomong, and they only lose the exhaust. So overall, still a fairly even trade.
I'm a little bit curious about why Baolan is on the likes of Galio. They don't really have a person that has good gap closers, so you can't really use a cannonball combo forward. And also, the way we've seen Galio used in most LPL games is actually protective for hyper carries in the backline. We've seen him used with Aphelios, we've seen him used with Kai'Sa, crowd control, double global comp. That one's probably a bit more aggressive, but mainly it has been a defensive pick.
Oh, there it is. We talked about the aggression, talked about not using his flash, not being aggressive enough, missing flashes in, uses the ignite, and they get themselves first blood. Now, with Beishong perfectly positioned, there's not a huge amount of wave clear here for Wink. He's got cleanse, he's got flash, but is he anywhere to go? I don't think he does, and he will fall. Perfect execution from Team WE.
That was so good on the tower aggro drop as well. Missing, taking the tower aggro, and then flashing out, making sure his AD carry 100% would stay alive in that situation, and they pick up the double onto the bot side. Hey, this is exactly what we're talking about. If you want to punish IG, who's performing on point, you punish their bot lane first.
Yeah, I think that is the fairest point you could possibly make. And Shun, not really much going for him here. Shanks is in a fairly decent position. They don't know exactly where the Talia is either, so they cannot commit fully to a full 2v2 if it was to be that, because Rookie doesn't have that much mana either. So again, overall, it's just looking much better for TWE. I like the fact that they went and tried to punish the bot lane, and I like the fact that they got the punish down on top of them without, you know, overextending themselves.
The way I think IG needs to win this game, since their bot lane is definitely not going to do it, is they have to use the priority that Syndra and Olaf gives them. They have a massive advantage in this 2v2. It's AD plus AP against double AP, so you get advantage in rune choices. And they need to go into the enemy jungle. They need to be able to kill Beishang while he's taking his own red, just burst him down that way. And that's kind of the only early game thing they have going for them.
Ooh, the Shy needs to flash away. I don't know if Breathe really felt like he had to go for that one there. Felt like maybe he thought he had a little bit more mana than he did. But another summoner burnt, and this is great from Team WE. This is why people get excited for Team WE, because they can make these things happen if they get Beishang onto something that has early prio.
I totally agree with you. Beishang has been a great roamer around the map this entire split, or the last split too. And I think his best quality is the fact that he's very difficult to pin down. We haven't seen him really falter when he isn't given any support from his teammates. So maybe he will be able to escape from Syndra and Olaf going into his jungle.
Team WE, now they're the ones with the 1,000 gold lead at the 5.5 minute mark. They're the ones that are going to be dictating the pace about where they want to go. And I want to see what Beishang does with this. He knows there's no flash on Wink. There's no flash on the Shy. I want to see him go back to these lanes. I want to see him try and gain something else from this, because it's all well and good getting those advantages, but if you don't use anything from them, then it was pointless.
Definitely true right there. They're getting a really good zone off. Not a lot Wink can do. Doesn't get the melee minions in front. Is zoned out by Jomong. And just sitting on this massive summoner advantage, I think is enough for WE. I wouldn't necessarily hard force myself into ganking this lane, but we do have some action.
Yeah, we have a little bit of action. The taunt goes down. I don't think there's anywhere for Missing to really go here. Without a flash and without a prayer, he will fall. IG get themselves onto the board. And it's going to be Wink picking that one up. So probably the best person they possibly could have donated that kill to.
Yeah, and they flipped the script. They get the Drake when it definitely should have been WE taking this one. We could see Beishang was actually in position with the Weaver's Wall, ready to make a play. But that was really good timing on Xun. He read what Missing would do perfectly. He had the ward in place in the river beforehand. So he knew that there was no wards right there. Missing would have to drop a ward to keep their bot lane safe. In the meantime, Beishang going top.
Beishang is here, gets the flick back. They will get the explosive cast down, but he gets stunned just before he gets the Camille away. One more auto attack will do it. Beishang collects that kill. 3 kills to 1. Beishang making exactly what I wanted him to do.
Hey, you can take the Dark Harvest, Xun. I can take the Dark Harvest too. And this time he's going to put a lot of hurt onto that top lane. Camille, when fed, is really a different beast right now. And I think we're going to see them continue to just force that play over and over again. Not over-index into the bot lane dives. That's pretty risky, even with the summoner advantage. So, just try to punish the Shy. We have seen this from the Shy is, if you kill him the first time, you get his flash early, he will continue to dive at you. If you go top with the 2-man, he will die, and he'll laugh about it. And that's how it usually goes.
Yeah, if that's just how it is, and this is the kind of the things we wanted to see from Beishang in the first game he wasn't able to do, is that, influencing his lane, getting his, bot lane, his top lane going. If Shanks can just absorb this pressure, which in fairness, as of right now, he's doing very, very well, should be able to kind of make this work for the rest of his team now. But IG, they want to try and change the pace up a little bit. They're putting 4 people towards this mid lane. They will get the double lockdown on top of Shanks, who's forced to flash away. Hadn't got cleansed, needed off one last shot! And Wink becomes the sniper of WE's nightmares as he picks himself up a kill, and that is almost certainly going to mean that they get the Rift Herald as well. Nicely done by IG's bot.
I absolutely adore this play coming out from IG. They had the priority mid, and the way they follow up with it isn't taking it into the jungle. It's just straight up punishing with the Galio plus Jhin combo. Very interesting stuff, and I think this is a play that you wouldn't have seen earlier, because we have been told that Wink is actually the shot caller now on this team, so he's able to kind of direct traffic, have Balland follow him into that play, and they capitalize out of Rookie's advantage in lane.
Again, for the side of Team WE, you need to be making sure that you're not giving away these advantages too much. Great explosive cast from the Shy. He wants to go for this fight. The Hextech Ultimatum is still available for Breed, so I actually think he's pretty okay. Just a very, very annoying pick, and I think that's the best way to describe Gragas in the meta right now. He is just annoying to deal with.
We see him blind picked a lot of times just to make sure that you can't have anything that punishes into the top lane. We can talk a little bit about the Shy's build. We have seen AP builds from Flandre, but the Shy this time with the Grasp of the Undying definitely going for a more tank-oriented build. And this is also a pretty interesting one. We actually have seen in some matchups he does go for the Frostfire Gauntlet, does give him 100 extra HP, and just makes him that much more annoying in lane where you can't really do anything to him. Has a little bit more utility in teamfights as well. So, you know, we should keep a track on that one, see where he goes with that. There are targets like Orianna and Kai'Sa where sticking to them, having a little bit more slow might be a little bit more useful.
For IG, they just want to get Rookie going again. Second game on the Syndra, had a fantastic game one, just able, as we said, to zone out the rest of Team WE, making sure they couldn't walk up aggressively, they couldn't take position because they had to know exactly where Rookie was and where his balls were positioned to be able to just dodge them out. It kept adding it to like almost mini game, if you like, to the side of Team WE to make sure they knew exactly what was going on. But for them, I feel like this plan is pretty much the same as the last time. It's to get Rookie going, try and get the Shy back onto an even footing with this Camille, and just look for those big kind of outplays in the macro game.
Oh, this Camille is just so annoying. I'm sorry, this Gragas is so annoying. Just watching the Camille try to go in on him and seeing him just heal up everything that you can do within 2 trades, it's so tilting, and this is why I honestly like the Gragas pick a lot. We have seen the Shy actually do favor these champions. He played a lot of Sion in kind of the same way in the previous splits, where he was able to grind out his counter picks by just going into these super sustained builds. The Frozen Gauntlet at that time was a favorite for him, and he was even able to win on like the Urgot matchups too. Now both teams are setting up for this Drake, and for now I do have to give advantage to WE. I think their team is a little bit more 5v5 focused. They do have a good combos to kind of defend on the blue side. If they can hold a lot of these ramps and make IG face check, it's very hard for IG to actually do anything.
Oh, Rookie. Caught between a wall and an Orianna. They do not get the flick back, but they do get the ultimate and the flash. So 2 big teamfight ultimates. As I say that, though, Shun, he wants to fight. Beishang has to just try and flash away, keep himself alive. He will end up trading his life 1 for 1. And there will be no dragon taken today as both junglers are dead.
Yep, both have to reset right here. Love what WE did right there, using their blind spots to try and make a pick onto Rookie. They do force out a lot of summoners from him. And again, the fight is going to reset, so I think WE are still pretty happy to just run it back once more and have the same setup.
Oh, Breathe was shopping a little bit there, caught himself out. They will have the explosive cast available, but will opt not to use it. The Shy just being as annoying as physically possible onto this Camille. Breathe will have his back delayed. Shouldn't be that big of an issue, though, in the long run.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Camille chase Gragas down for kills until she gets the Ravenous Hydra at the very least. So not a lot going to happen in that lane. It's just going to be a bounce house for both of them. Once again, W running the same play. They don't have the Weaver's Wall, but that doesn't really matter to them. And the ultimates that are missing on IG are impacting their teamfight capabilities a lot more. So I love this play by WE. They know they have the ult advantage. They just walk straight in and take away the objective.
Just stop dragon stacking before it could even start for IG, so we will not be seeing an early soul. There will be a mountain soul on the rift. And Shun, I like the aggression from him. I like the style of just trying to go for something, but you got to remember, you're still an Olaf with, you know, 1 item, and it's a gore drinker. You're not really going to be able to tank up that much for that long. So I feel like it was, again, very over aggressive, but worked out in the end for both sides, really. Actually, I'd say actually with Team WE able to get back onto the map, worked out a little bit better for them.
I'll just be honest, I don't know what this IG team composition does later on. I feel like it's such a smorgasbord of different pieces that don't really fit.
Oh, what a great name. What a great word, smorgasbord. But yeah, I just love how you just kind of admitted to me. It's like, look, I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't know what's going on. Like, IG are the only ones that what's happening right now. I agree. It's kind of hard to see how this comp really works out. But I feel like they will need a couple of big blunders from the side of Team WE to get the quote-unquote perfect team fight setup where Wink is on the backside. Ooh, explosive cast, not able to get Breathe underneath the tower. Breeze's able to take a much more equal trade than I probably anticipated, but with 4 people into this mid lane, they're just going to use it. This comp, all it does is just bully Shanks. He needs to try one more shot is not going to land. Shanks with his happy feet, got his dancing shoes on, keeps himself alive. The tower will not fall just yet, but he does blow his flash again.
This play is actually going to end up in WE's favor because they're going to be able to take the bot lane for free. It's definitely an over rotation from IG. They're not going to get much out of this. And I just want to counter your point about bullying Shank. That's not a composition. That's rookie. There's a difference there.
That is very, very true. But sometimes that is already a win condition. And speaking of a win condition, you could just always go and try and bully the Shy, who does not have explosive cast available. Beishang, the perfect position to capitalize on a very, very overextended Fat Man, means that is going to be top tower almost certainly going down. They will trade it for mid.
And Killer Instinct from Jomong is still here, so there's definitely going to be a team fight that happens right here.
Missing. What are you doing there, buddy? He goes in a bit too far. The Ignite is ticking down. Jomong has to use the ultimate aggressively to get the flick back, but there's just too much damage from Rookie. They eventually take down the Orianna as well. Ends up being overall a 3 for 3. IG are not out of it just yet.
I just want to say that execution could have been so much cleaner for WE. They had top lane Camille that just base, has a teleport advantage. And they have Killer Instincts incoming, but they still managed to lose 2 people in that one. Jomong with a really questionable flash in that one. We're going to get a slow replay here. Missing is going up. He's setting up for the Killer Instinct. He just needs to land some crowd control in. Definitely should back up out here. He keeps shooting. So, you know, I forgive Missing. But Jomong right here, this play was ugly, man. Really, really ugly. He burns both summoners for it.
I will give him a little bit of credit that I feel like he realized he was a little bit low on health. He had nowhere really to go, so he then ults in with the Killer Instinct to gain the shield and then tries to Gale Force out to try and keep himself alive. I respect the cojones, if you will, to try and go for such an ambitious play. But it just wasn't worth it. But it's LPL. They have to go for these. How else will they become highlight montages? We will always overhype coming into a world championship.
He does have the most gold in the game, though. So, you know, he's doing something right. I'll give him that.
Him and Beishang. So this gold lead of 3,500 is very much, or 2,500, excuse me, is very much just sitting on the 80 carry at the moment. If we look like right down, it's 1,000 for him. It's about 1,000 for Beishang, or 1,500 for Beishang. So right now, Beishang is really making the most of this Taliyah pick and making it work for Team WE, which is exactly what we wanted to see from them coming into this game.
I definitely agree with you. Beishang being the carry is the biggest change that we have from last split. Last split, Jomong was doing 35% of his team's damage. Beishang had no solo laners to work around, so he didn't really get much resources. But this time around, we do see Beishang actually stepping up massively, and he has showcased he can fill out that carry role and just make W that much better of a well-rounded team. Once again, they are going to the Dragon setup, and I do favor WE's comp once more. I just feel like IG at this point, they have a kind of a wonky pick composition. They don't have great follow-up with the Galio entrance. Shin, I don't think he's fed enough to actually tank enough of the damage from WE. So they're just going to have to outplay.
Oh, Missing has to just go in on top of this as he was left without a prayer and nowhere to go. The Shockwave does land on top of Baolan, who then gets Hextech ultimated and deleted. The explosive cast to try and disengage. The Shy, though, was a little bit too late, and Beishang is just free hitting on the side, using that worked ground as best he possibly can. And that is going to be the Dragon forfeited over by IG. Like you said, they tried to look for an outplay. They tried to look to see if they could maybe get a bit of a team fight in their favor. They're just a little bit too far behind, and like you said before, their team composition doesn't lend itself to this.
Like, look at Baolan. They found a pick, and Baolan didn't follow because he had to be the one to start it off. Like, I don't know, man. This is just one of those drafts where we actually had there was a great mic check from IG last split where Puff was asked, it was actually an interview. Puff was asked, what does your comp do? It's like, I don't know. The Soul Links do the drafts.
Rookie flashes in, gets the scatter the weak down onto 2 people, but like you said, who's going to follow up? You had to burn all of your summoners in that last engage. You have nowhere to go with this. No one who can really follow up with Rookie, and over ambitious to try and just make something work, get anything going for this team, because Team WE, they're starting to run away with it.
Yeah, their comp is starting to come online. They have all of their carries. Beishang is very far ahead, and I don't think Balan's going to be able to... Oh, he does get out of this one, so it is Jomo. Jomo, good.
No, the Shy! Just not able to get anything going for him right there. They get the TP. Yes, it was answered by Breathe, but at the end of the day, it ends up going more and more in favor of Team WE. And this is, again, the first game was 2018 IG. The second game feels a bit more like 2020 IG, where we didn't really know what they were doing.
Here we go.
Yeah, and it's like they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't really know what they wanted to go for. If they didn't get the exact picks they needed, it just kind of, the draft just feels like it falls apart a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple points that they probably expected to go a little bit better than it did. Bot lane failing that early was definitely a huge thing because it meant that no one was able to follow up on Olaf in jungle ganks, and Olaf never went into the enemy jungle, like not even once. So the only out that I felt like their composition had wasn't really utilized, and now they're just running headfirst into WE in team fights, and WE are the team fight masters. They've played this comp down to a T. They know how this works.
Yeah, they do, and you see Baolan and the Shy trying to see if they can defend this outer tier 1, the final outer tier 1 available to them, and they just cannot. You have to respect Beishang, Shanks, and of course missing with the CC. You just cannot walk willy-nilly up on top of this. You see Beishang just trying to see if he can find anything right now. Get a flick back, get him over some of that work ground, and see if they can get anything going for them. But IG, they have to play respectfully, and it feels like a 1-3-1 is totally fine for the side of WE. They can just keep pressuring all 3 lanes for the moment.
IG don't have scaling, they don't have split push, they don't have front to back, they have lousy pick.
But they have Rookie, so
that
it's
is true.
okay.
Hey, let's go. Sometimes it's so hard to judge how good IG coaches really are, because from what we've heard, their drafts have been dominated by their players for quite a long time. At least in in mic checks and in things like interviews, it definitely seems like a lot of times the Shy or Rookie are doing their drafts. So I don't know. I always hesitate to call it a good system when players dictate most of the draft, even though I know it works on G2.
When we get drafts like this.
Yeah.
When we get drafts like this, that's when you start to question whether or not the players have the smartest of calls, realistically. And again, this has kind of been an issue for IG, is they're now in a little bit more trouble. There are 3 people here for them. They want to go for a Hextech Ultimatum on top of the Shy. They will get the grand entrance from Baolan, and that means that they're able to turn this one around from Breathe. Just going a little bit too far forward. Will not be that heavily punished, but good turn from IG, making sure that they do not lose any more advantages.
It's definitely a great pick for them, but unfortunately, they're not going to be able to chain that up and stop the third Drake going over to WE. Jomo with a very opportunistic killer instincts here.
Oh, opportunistic is definitely the word, but it is 100% rewarded as Team WE find themselves a kill onto the jungler, and they're eyeing up the Baron. They can take this one very, very quickly. Need to be so careful, though, because if Rookie gets a good scatter of the week, this could go all pear-shaped.
This is incredibly risky from WE. They're missing 2 ultimates, and this is a fairly early Baron, so they are taking a lot of damage from it as well.
I think they've got it. They've got the curtain call coming out, but about 400 HP. They smite it away. And Wink not able to make anything happen with the curtain call. 30 seconds till the Dragon, and Team WE, they get it. They get the pick and the decisive shot call to go for that Baron. They are rewarded. Yeah,
really good play from Jomong. I actually reconsider my judgment on that, but Breathe, can he get out?
Yes, he can. He's got Shanks there with him, the Orianna, a perfect facilitator for when your top laner walks a little bit too far forward. And now you're looking at it, no exhaust for Baolan. You're looking at no explosive cast for the Shy. Can they defend this Dragon? That is the big question coming in right now. Rookie seeing if he can catch someone out while he sits in that bush, and IG are going to try to burn this one down.
It's going to be pretty close. Beishang is definitely in position. He does have his flash.
Oh, Beishang jumps in. He does not get the steal, so it is a 2 for 2 in terms of Dragons overall. But now the fight now ensues. Hextech ultimatum onto the backside. Camille is dead, but you can see Jomung is just being tided away by Shun. Shun keeping himself alive, but just barely. Look at these health bars. They're so low on Beishang. He's trying to just court them away. He is the shepherd leading the sheep to slaughter. Everyone being walked away, coerced behind the walls. They have nothing they can do. This is Attack on Titan. The wall will now fall as they try and just keep everybody down. IG are left dead and buried. Yes, you got yourselves the dragon, but you lose the ensuing team fight. The Shy just TPs in to make sure that Rookie will not die, and the rest of Team WE will take the spoils.
At the end of the day, IG macro was basically team fight and Drake for Baron. And that trade definitely favors WE. That's a very one-sided trade from what we've seen in the last 2 minutes here. And we're going to get a replay of that team fight, but the main thing is that trading backline dives is not equal for these two teams. Breathe is able to get a lot more done on the back end, and he also did have that Tiamat to splash the damage on all members of IG, while on the other hand, Shun going in wasn't able to find the kill onto Jomung. So Breathe goes in very early here, but he does get a sizable chunk of damage, and in the meantime, Beishang is there putting out all that AoE. Jomung is knocked out of the fight, but Shun can't really take an AD carry this fed. At this point, and this is really good herding coming in from WE. They know they're on the wrong side of the map. Weaver's walls goes down to punish them, and it's just an easy cleanup from this point.
Yep, they're lucky that Rookie was able to walk himself away. It was on the other side of that wall, otherwise it could have been a hell of a lot worse for the side of IG. They gained the Dragon, they equaled that one up to a piece, one mountain each, with a Ocean for Team WE and a Cloud for IG, but the Baron and a 7,000 gold lead now for Team WE. They want to make amends for Game 1, they want to send us to a Game 3 and make this series interesting. I love it, the fact that we have so many teams in this league that are so close in power rankings, in terms of how good/bad they are. It's just making this such an exciting year for League of Legends and LPL.
Especially today, when LNG could beat IG and then TT can still take a game off of LNG then, it pretty much completes the entire circle. You have everyone in the same chain. The only one that isn't playing so far has been RNG, sitting at the top of the food chain and doing their wonky macro style and still winning everyone. So that's kind of an interesting thing, but this is definitely the most chaotic standings that we've seen, even for LPL. I don't think I've seen an LPL where we have teams like TT actually showing some signs of life, OMG taking a game off of EDG, things like that. Even though it doesn't extend to overall match score, the game score has been super hectic.
And it does give that slight caveat to a lot of these games. Can we 100% say that they'll win this match? The LNG earlier, we thought that was going to be an easy 2-0. I even said it in the broadcast. I thought LNG should honestly take that in less than 50 minutes in-game time. But, TT, they came back. I did. They still won, but I did jinx them for the timing. But you can see just how stacked it is, how difficult these best of threes are, especially when you look at, the difference between first and last is probably only, a couple of games, realistically, either side. So it's huge.
Definitely is, and we are still in week 2 of the LPL, so there's still a lot of goodness to come right here. WE just doing kind of the standard fight, stripping away the outer turrets. And IG can't even match the rotations at this point. The thing I love about WE's composition is not only can they play a pretty good front to back, they also have a lot of global pressure. So if you're sending like 2 members to defend a side lane tower, that's not worth it. You're going to get instantly collapsed upon and just killed underneath your tower. So IG is not risking that defense. They were actually zoned out by the Weaver's wall, but the idea is kind of the same. If you have to defend, you have to defend with your entire team.
And like you said, those globals, I would call it a pseudo-global of Jomung, meaning he can just catapult himself in as quick as he possibly can within a certain range. You've got the Talia Weaver's Wall, you've double teleports as well for Breathe and Shanks. They can be so many places at the same time while also being a 100% cohesive unit to take on a 5v5 fight. So for Team WE, like you said, it just feels stronger. It feels like they came in with a definitive plan, and it feels like they're the ones that are in control. It's their game to lose right now.
Meanwhile, Balan doesn't get to use his ultimate in team fights. because there's no one to actually use it on.
Yeah.
No
one's going to be going in.
Weird.
He's the one who has to go in.
I don't know, man.
You can always tell you're a little tilted about comms when your voice just jumps about an octave.
It definitely does.
Just goes up a little bit. Nice seismic shove. Shun gets solar flared as well, but they can't really follow up on it. But while that's all happening, they're going to try to take the Drake. You can have the Drake. We're going to go for an inhibitor turret. This is the trade you take all day, every day of your Team WE.
And this is really smart. IG actually has to send someone top to defend their inhibitor. That, in the meantime, gives WE a chance to take a 5v4 on the Baron pit.
And they can delay with the Weaver's Wall as well, forcing the rest of IG to go that bit further. Now, Wink has to use the curtain call to try and just get some form of vision, some kind of information for his team. Baron goes down. They do not get the flash in from Shun in time. Now we can see the flash in, the 5v4 just when he started off straight away. Teleport coming in. It's a 4v4 at the moment, but Balan is dead. The supports have been traded. Shockwave only lands onto the Shy. They jump straight on top of Wink, who got Hextech ultimated, and the rest of the team fight is going down. It's a triple kill on the way for Jomung, and that is almost certainly the game for Team WE. We are going the full distance today, Clemens.
WE made a great play. They trade them the Drake. They had Breathe split pushing in the top lane. It forces someone to answer that, and then they go for the Baron play. Now, I will nitpick right here. Breeze's teleport was way too far away. Rookie actually arrived at the same time, so they kind of butchered that play, but it doesn't matter. WE, they are going to take this one to IG. They're going to extend this series, and it doesn't matter that much about Red Side when IG draft themselves a comp that honestly, I don't even think they know how to execute.
And that is the second game going over to Team WE. They tie up the series and send us to a sudden death. One more game to play for these two sides. And honestly, it's a huge win for either of these teams. A win here, massive, massive boost for your chances of getting a top 4 in playoffs.
You know what